very much. Thank you. Right, the next item on the agenda is my monthly report. Yeah. I don't know what I have done with this. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my computer, so that's why I'm expressing some frustration under my breath up here. So I'll just quickly present my report. I was absent from the city for the first few days of this particular month. I had the opportunity to present to the annual conference of the local government professionals of Western Australia, and I talked about building resilience to future challenges, and in the context of some of the experiences that we've had here in Christchurch. And you've heard me talking about the importance of community networks and community events, building social capital. Really, that was at the heart of my talk. I talked about the significance of using existing community networks, being prepared to work with emergent community leaders, and I referenced the Student Volunteer Army obviously as an example of that, and I've mentioned them again today as well. And also the incredible strengths that you can draw from those communities in developing a response to any form of event, because it is they who are able to lead the way within their own communities. So for me, I felt that I was quite justified in expressing confidence in a community-led approach to both response and recovery. And as evidenced by, for example, the Aranui Community Trust in Aranui, I use them as an example, and I use Project Littleton as an example. I also referenced that what stands in the way of using communities or allowing communities to lead in this way. And I had a slide that was headed up rules and regulations. And I had an image, because rules, and I said, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but often in New Zealand, rules and regulations stand in the way of actually communities doing stuff that they would actually like to be able to do themselves. But I was able to, in that slide, have an image of the Governor's Bay Jetty, and I was able to refer on that particular day to the fact that the Governor's Bay Jetty had been sold to the local community that very day for $1, and that the Deputy Mayor was there receiving the dollar in return. He spent it. No, he didn't. He didn't. It's been mounted. It was a proper presentation.
Absolutely.
Yes. So and there will be an equivalent and appropriate presentation on the return exchange when the job is completed. But it was a really good example of building resilience. And I just said, just reference all of the things that they've done. I did also take the, so I talked about the importance of starting with strengths, building trust both ways, knowing your communities, their strengths and leaders, connecting with emergent leaders, valuing diversity and local knowledge, being inclusive and engaging in meaningful exchange. And I repeated my often repeated phrase that the wisdom of the community, when combined with the knowledge of the experts, always exceeds what one can offer without the other. It was in response to a phrase that came out of the earthquakes where the community felt that they were excluded, and so they said that the wisdom of the community always exceeds the knowledge of the experts, and I don't agree with that. I actually think it's the combination that creates the strength in terms of a way forward. Because there's always more than one way forward, but if it's community-led, I think that the strength is there. I also had the chance to meet a couple of mayors while I was there, the Mayor of Vincent, City of Vincent within Perth, and the Mayor of Fremantle. And both of them were really progressive mayors who are focused on the importance of placemaking. So it was a really valuable exercise. Not 1 cent of ratepayers' money was expended on said trip. So I'll just make that point. And I've also commented on the arrival of Beruz Buchani into Christchurch as part of the Word Festival. Word has really been an amazing festival within Christchurch's context, but also in New Zealand. And I think it's hugely significant that he chose to come here to Christchurch, and the extent of his contribution. And I do recommend that if you do get a chance, I know some of you came to listen to him speak, but it is such a powerful message of how political rhetoric and the hatred for others that can lead to events that we experience, like March 15. And I've described it here. It was visceral as it was laid bare, and it was. It was an incredibly powerful opportunity to hear somebody who has thought deeply about what matters in this world. And I just think it was an extraordinary opportunity. I'm very grateful, and I'm pleased that we support the Word Festival. They bring some great thinkers to this city, and people capable of inspiring incredible discussions. We had Dr. Antwi Akom come as part of a Christchurch conversation, and I have to say, and I know Yanni's referred to him before, he was an exceptional visionary with an extensive background in collaborative community-facing technology projects designing for the public good, and developing new models of urban innovation in the 21st centuries that make communities smarter, but more importantly, more equitable, just and sustainable. And equity, sustainability and justice combining in the way to approach community engagement and development. Really, I mean, it was magic. So again, we're inviting some incredible people to our city, just because of who we are and how we are connecting. And if you think of, the decision that Yo-Yo Ma made, for example, from an arts perspective, that he chose Christchurch as the only venue in New Zealand that he came to. Christchurch is becoming a place where people are thinking that they can come and express themselves in a variety of different ways that is good for our city, and it's good for our future as well. So I really do think that we've got an incredible opportunity to continue to attract people like this to our city, and who will be able to contribute in a very powerful way. And the other one that I will highlight is the visit. I'll mention their Royal Highnesses, because it was extraordinary to take the Duchess to the Botanic Gardens, where she knew Wolfgang Bopp, who is our curator. I went to introduce her, and I said, may I introduce you to, and she went, oh, Wolfgang. So she already knew him. So, but he has kept her incredibly well informed about our gardens, and it was the highlight of her visit. So, I mean, I just think, we and very proudly showing off, what is just quintessential Christchurch are our gardens. But I do want to acknowledge the visit by the Lord Mayor of Adelaide. She was accompanied by artist Karen Jenoff, and she was accompanied by a representative from the Corner people of the area, and a beautiful artwork has been donated to the Sister City Garden at Hallswell Quarry Park to replace a bronze artwork that was stolen from the site a number of years ago. But this is an extraordinary replacement and tells a very powerful story reflecting the traditions of the local people. and traditional owners of the land in the area where Curran comes from. So it was, again, a very powerful presentation, and the wonderful school group that performed on that occasion were thrilling. And I will mention the Children's University graduation, because it was a direct result of our sister city relationship with Adelaide and a visit that I made 2 or 3 years ago that led to the development of the Children's University here. And I have publicly acknowledged Councillor Anne Galloway, who did the hard yards for us as a council, and really helped make it happen, with Ngāi Tahu working in partnership with both Canterbury and Lincoln universities. But to see, and sitting in behind us in this picture are the children who are about to graduate, wearing their gowns and their mortarboards. And I don't know if people saw the television program with them ending it with them throwing their mortarboards up into the air. It really was an exciting part of a child's journey into lifelong learning. It just really was an incredibly powerful expression of that. So so I'd like somebody to move that we accept my report. Jimmy Chen, I'll let you move that. Pauline Cotter, any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. It's carried.